Well, hello everyone. My name is Martin Štroc, and I'm from Latvia, from MikroTik company. There I work in support team. When I found out that I have to make a presentation for the mom, at the first I couldn't imagine about what I should tell you. But then I was writing some emails to clients, and I decided that I could help you, and I could help to myself too. So I will tell you a little bit about initial debugging steps in RouterOS, which you should execute if something isn't working, your router is rebooting, you're making some configuration and it simply doesn't work. And in the end, I will tell you what you should do when you decide to write a support team to ask for help, what you should send to us, what you should tell us, so we could together reach working solution much more faster. But in the very beginning, first the debugging step, I would like to tell you that you always should think if you are the only one who can be responsible for something not working on router. You can't imagine how many times people have written to support and telling, suddenly my router stopped to work. Nothing works, it's broken, there is a bug or something like that. And then we ask, are you only one who can access this device? Do you have a password on this device? Of course, I have password, I'm only administrator, and then after a week, oh sorry, my colleague changed something on the router and it doesn't work anymore. So always check that you are only administrator on your device, that you have a password and so on, so nobody can play around with your router and mess up your configuration. So, if you are sure that you are only one who can be doing something on your router, then there usually are most common things that people write to support. First of all, it's that router is not accessible at some point. Router has lost its license key. Client is trying to configure something, but he isn't able to do it. And these are main things that we receive emails about to support. So I will try to tell you what you should do if you experience some kind of issue like this. So first of all, let's talk what you should do if your router is suddenly not accessible. Many of our devices has a serial port, RJ45 or COM port. So you can connect serial port to your device when it's not accessible, and believe me, you will see much more information than you can see if you log in through Winbox or a web interface to router. As you can see in this screen, for example, you can see also how router is turning on, how bootloader is working. Not only the router side, but actually how it's booting up and something like that. And many times you can also see the error there yourself. For example, in this case, simply router does not have operating system, and you can know that there is no issue with like cables or something like that. You just simply need to reinstall router. So serial port is very good thing to use. So always if you have router with serial port, try to connect and check what's going on. So if you don't have serial port, or you are not being able to see why router is not booting up, next step which you should do is try to use backup bootloader. Each of our routers has two bootloader versions. First of all, the primary one and the backup bootloader, which means that backup bootloader is the version of bootloader which should work always. If you like install a new primary bootloader, it's corrupted, it doesn't work, you should use backup one, and it should always work. So what you should do to use this bootloader? First of all, power your router off, press and hold reset button, power on the router, and the release reset button. If you have serial port and you have connected to it, then you will see, like in the screenshot, router boot backup booter loading. Not router boot booter, but router boot backup booter. It means that you have launched backup bootloader, and if router now powers on and everything is working, you just need to perform function system router board upgrade on your router, And then this bootloader will become primary bootloader, and you will have fixed your router. But what you should do if this didn't help? There is a tool created by MikroTik, and it's called NetInstall. With this tool, you can reinstall your router. It doesn't matter which platform router do you use. If something is wrong, if you just need to upgrade router or change packages, you should use NetInstall software. So if backup bootloader was working but didn't help, you should reinstall device by using NetInstall. NetInstall reinstalls RouterOS operating system, not the bootloader, but the operating system. But very, very many times, every day we receive messages from clients that NetInstall isn't working. It's bad, it's full of bugs, it's not working. Why do you give us such product which isn't working? But believe me, almost always there is something else wrong. First of all, always when you use MikroTik products, try to use latest versions of RouterOS and so on. Because if you buy a router, which was like manufactured months ago, it won't work on RouterOS version which was built 2 years ago. It's of course obvious because it doesn't have drivers for this correct device. Same goes for NetInstall. If it's not working, just download latest version and try again. Always remember that firewall on your computer must be turned off because it always blocks NetInstall access to router. IP address of computer and NetInstall must be on same subnet. So because installation is like IP connection, they must be on the same subnet. They must reach each other. NetInstall must be able to reach router. If you use Windows, then remember that gateway IP address must be specified. Many people don't know that, but it's simply how Windows works. You have to have gateway address specified to be able to communicate between two IP addresses. Also remember that other DHCP servers must be disabled on your network, because NetInstall works like a DHCP server. It assigns address to router and then sends router's packages. But if there is other DHCP server in network, it might not work if this server gives an address. So NetInstall won't recognize router. And remember that router must be connected on the boot interface. You can reinstall any of our routers only through one Ethernet interface. On some devices it's first port, on some devices it's the last port, but only one can work. So if you have made sure that everything in this list is correct, then simply power off your router, press reset button, power router on, and just wait until device appears in NetInstall. Then you will be able to reinstall RouterOS operating system. If you use serial port, as I was mentioning before, you will be able to launch this process also from bootloader. And in bootloader, you just need to select boot device and some of Ethernet booting modes. So now we tried backup bootloader. We tried to reinstall device, but it still isn't working. So if we have fresh bootloader and fresh RouterOS, it means that router should be working, it should be booted in, but maybe you simply have locked yourself out because of some kind of configuration issue. For example, if you create firewall rule which drops everything, then you won't be able to access your device. And only thing you can do is reset configuration. To reset configuration of router, you should again power router off, press reset button, power router on, and wait until user LED starts to flash. All of our routers has this user LED, which shows you activity, and when it starts to flash, release the button, and router will power on with default configuration. But at this point, if you still are not being able to reach this device, then if you have serial access, you could check, for example, interface status. If, as in this screen, you can see neither of interfaces are on running state. If they would be, there would be like error letter before interface name. It simply means that you don't have Ethernet connection. But why? Don't always try to think that the router is faulty. Think first, maybe cable is broken. If you use PoE, maybe PoE is broken. Maybe the device in the other end has some issues. Of course, it can be some kind of software issue, incompatibility between different model devices. But first of all, don't try to blame the router. Try to think maybe something else is broken. And if still you can't access your device, the last thing to do is exchange it. If you will exchange it to the same model device and it works, well, yes, then the device is broken and you should send it to warranty. But usually, by using mostly first two steps, people are again being able to use their router, and it works without any issues. Another thing which I would like to mention is that you sometimes can't reach router simply because it's completely overloaded. There is no more than 100% of CPU usage anywhere. If router is completely loaded, you won't be able to access it. If it's single core router or something like that, you can't, like my colleague was telling before about different kinds of products which we have. You can do the same things on Hoplite for $20 as you can do on the CCR devices, which cost many hundreds of dollars. So remember, if CPU is 100% loaded, maybe you just need more powerful device. So these were steps. Sorry. These were steps which you should follow in case you can't access device at some point. Another major topic in support is lost license keys. Many people write to us that they have lost their license and router isn't usable anymore. But usually it happens for some simple reason. For example, if you use RouterOS on x86 machine and you suddenly see that there is only 24 hours left to renew the license, or license is already ended, you should first of all write to support team. Also, it usually happens if you exchange hard disk drive on your device. You will lose license. You should write to the support team, tell us your license number, and we will give you a new replacement key which will cost $10. So just write to us, send this number, and we will reply you, and you will get your license back. So it won't take a long time. But in case, if you lose license on router device, if you lose license on router device, then first of all, always upgrade RouterOS. As I was telling before, you can't use router which is recently introduced with old RouterOS version. Same goes also for licensing. If you will downgrade router to older version than it should be working with, license will be lost. So first step is always upgrade your router. Upgrade RouterOS, upgrade bootloader version, and if then still you don't have your license key, then find in Winbox or web interface this small button called Make Support Ref. It will generate simple file on your device. You can download it from your router and send to support. From this file, we will see all information about your router and we'll be able to help you to renew your license. So remember to send file so it wouldn't take a long time to get your license back again working. So this was about licenses. Now we should talk about configuration issues. What you should do if something simply isn't working on your device as you have expected. The first step is always use log. At this screenshot, you can see a log from RouterOS device. At that point, I created PPTP tunnel and made a mistake, so it wouldn't work. Now I open log, and I don't see anything related to PPTP. I have no idea. I have no idea why it doesn't work. In RouterOS, there is extra feature that you can go and under system logging menu and add line like this. You can see PPTP, debug, expression mark, packet. You can of course exchange PPTP with any other topic, but now you will have enabled extra debugging logs. Now I again try to establish my PPTP tunnel. What happens? I open log again, and I can see extra messages. PPTP test, that's the tunnel name, and some extra messages. But I still don't know what is wrong. Yes, something is wrong. I see new messages, but it's still not I don't understand why it's not working. I again go under system logging menu, and before I had PPTP debug expression mark packet. Now I remove this expression mark, and log looks like this. And you see, it was very simple mistake. Bad username or password. You could write to support and tell that tunnels are not working in general or there is some kind of bug, but actually it's simply bad username or password. By using two simple steps, you can very fast to reach resolution for your issue. So use logs, they are very helpful. But in other cases, when you have like many tunnels or something like that, log is too short to see all the messages. So very useful thing to do is to save logs into file. To do that, you should go under system logging and action menu, open disk option, and type some kind of file name. Now you can assign this action to logging, and all these logs will be saved into text file. You will be able to download this file and send to support team. You can save there thousands of lines without worrying about filling up, without slowing down the router. So in cases when you have like multiple issues or issues with many interfaces at the same time, do this thing, and you will have special logs in a special file, so it will be easier to find where the issue is. So if you have tried also logging and you still can't find where the issue is, you should upgrade your router. We are working on routers every day. We make new features, make fixes for some small issues and so on. We are adjusting compatibility with other devices, and that is why we are offering to our clients 4 different types of versions. Of course, you can install also other RouterOS versions, but directly from your router, you can either install legacy, bug fix only, current, or release candidate version. So, what is the legacy version? It is RouterOS version 5, latest version 5.26 at the moment. It's actually, I guess, more than 2 years old version, which people use nowadays basically on older devices, like the ones which they bought 10 years ago and so on. So then you should choose this version. But if you use like newer products, you should always choose any of other channels. First of all, bug fix only channel. When we build RouterOS, we build a primary version, for example 6.34, and then when we find some issues and some fixes for them, we add these fixes to this version. We don't add new features, we add just fixes. So 6.34.1 is better than 6.34. Of course, there are some extra exceptions always somewhere, but in most cases, it's always better version. So at this point, this bug fix version is 6.34.6. This channel is most stable one. This version is here because many people have told that it's working, everything is great. Basically, this is the best version what we have. If you have important routers like servers and so on, you should choose bugfix channel and use bugfix version on this device. So next channel is current channel. It's RouterOS version 6, latest full and tested release. So 6.34.6 was bugfix, 6.35.4 is current. What's the difference? 6.35.4 is newer. It has more fixes, it has more new features, but it's not tested for so long time. So we haven't decided to move it to bugfix channel yet, because we want to make more fixes, maybe add some more features, and only then move it to bugfix channel. It has more features, but it's little bit less tested than bugfix version. And in the end, there is release candidate version. Sometimes we release like these versions 2 times a day. These are really for testing and playing around, for enthusiasts who wants to like see new features, just test what's available, or you can see that we have made a fix you can which is necessary for you. You can use release candidate version, but you have to remember that release candidate version is not very much tested. You shouldn't use it on your servers and so on, because there is possibility that something might go wrong. But of course, usually it works, but it might go wrong. So use release candidate only if you want to play around or have found a fix which you really need. When you decide to upgrade your device, always check the changelog. For example, in the screenshot you can see check the changelog from 6.35.4 version. See that there is actual need for upgrade for you. Maybe there are no related changes for your device, for your platform and so on, for your configuration. Maybe there is no need for upgrade. Also, sometimes we add some special notes to the changelog where it's written that something will stop to work. You know, like networking is progressing, and also, for example, tunneling is being developed further, and at some point RFC changes, and we have to also change how tunneling works on our devices. It means that when we change something, maybe if you upgrade one endpoint of your tunnel, it will stop to work, because both of the devices must be on same version. Always read changelog, because then you will see if you need to upgrade all of your network, or are you safe to upgrade only one device. So check for extra notes in changelog. And upgrade itself is very simple. You just need to go under System, Package, and press button Check for updates. Here you will see this window, and in the first row you can see Channel menu. In the drop list there is available Legacy, Bugfix Only, Current, and Release Candidate. Just choose channel which you like. You can read the changelog here and press Download and Install button. Router will download files from our server. Of course, make sure that there is enough space on your router. Router will go into Reboot and boot up with new RouterOS version. So, if you had a router which you couldn't access and you tried everything, you lost license key, you tried debugging, you tried upgrade, and now is the time, if something is still not working, now is the time that you should contact support team. Of course, at the very beginning, you are always very upset. I have tried everything, nothing is working. Your routers are very bad, full of bugs and so on. Don't be so pessimistic, because at that point you should focus on the problem. First of all, some log messages might tell you where the problem is by themselves. If your router is rebooting, which is the worst case scenario, and if you see in the logs that router has rebooted because of power outage or without proper shutdown, it usually means that something is wrong with router itself. either with powering, either with adapter, or power plug, or device itself. So just test hardware first. But if router is rebooting because of kernel failure or watchdog timeout, usually it's caused by some kind of software issue or configuration issue. At that point, when router is rebooting with kernel failure or watchdog timeout, as I was saying before, if you have serial port, connect the device to serial port. And if router reboots, you might see something like this on your serial console. This is the best thing that we can get from you. It's actual like error message, which normally people can't understand. It's for developers. But if you see this and you can copy it to text file and send to us, in most cases that's the key to find a fix for your issue. So if your router is rebooting, try to get this serial output and upgrade to the latest version. I will repeat it many times. If something isn't working, first of all, upgrade to the latest version. Now, reproduce the problem. If you can get this serial output, generate support file. I was telling before with make support ref file. But remember that file must be generated after router has rebooted, because if you reboot it again manually, all error messages will be erased. So file won't be usable for us. Wait until file is generated, download it from router, and remember that you can't reboot device, otherwise all error messages are erased. So this is what you should do if router is rebooting with kernel failure or watchdog time. What you should do in case of memory leak. If your device runs on low memory or reboots with out of memory condition, upgrade device to the latest version. Then reboot the router manually, and after like 1 minute generate one support file. This file will represent the situation when everything is working as it should. Wait for a while, monitor your free RAM memory, and when it's very low, generate another file. This will represent situation when it's on bad condition, and send both of these files to us. Again, do not reboot device in the middle. In case if something simply isn't working, not rebooting, problem is in the rebooting router, upgrade device to the latest version. Enable debugging logs, if you can, to the file. Reproduce the problem. For example, if you have issues with tunnel, try to reconnect tunnel. And then generate support file or multiple files if multiple devices are involved in your configuration. Download the support file, log file if you have one, and these files will be very useful for us. Why I am telling this out to you, it's because even if you write to us that your router is rebooting, we will still need these files. We will ask to you to make these files so we can help you, and it will take much longer time than if you would know what to do at the very beginning, and at the very first message send this information to support. So you now have made all files necessary. It's time to write a message to support. Believe me, every day, every people who is writing to us, they think that they have a biggest problem in the world, that their issue is our main priority. Of course, every of your issues is our main priority, but we process tickets in queue order, so we can't answer all people at the same time. So there is no need to all the time write angry messages and so on. Why are you not answering? Unfortunately, all you can do is wait. So, what you should tell in your message when you write to support? First of all, briefly explain what has happened. Router rebooting, tunnel isn't working, and so on. If you can, try to tell when it happens. For example, once a day, twice a week, something like that. And what did you do to make it happen? Why suddenly it rebooted? Why suddenly tunnel stopped to work? This all will be very useful information for support team. Write the message, try to write everything what you know, and then remember that you have to attach files to messages. First of all, support file. Send it always, no matter what. It will always help us to help you. Always send also log files if you have them. If it's some kind of a situation which you can reproduce yourself, very useful are pictures and videos where we can see what did you click, what did you do. In case of reboots, remember to get serial output if you have serial port, and network topology drawing in case it's some kind of configuration issue. So now you have written your message, attached files, and you have pressed send button. What happens next? You will receive automated reply. So many times people write, did you read my message? I explained you my problem, but you write this to me. This is automated reply. You receive it after like few minutes. And believe me, also experienced users sometimes to forget very simple things which are mentioned in this automated reply. Try to visit forum, try to look through our wiki pages. Maybe you can find a resolution for your issue yourself. When you will receive this message, in your email you will have subject with your problem description, and there will be some long number. It's your ticket number. Remember to reply to this message, because in our support system all messages within same conversation are held together. If you write new message, it will be new ticket. It might get assigned to another support person in support. So we might lose information just because you did write new message instead of reply to previous message. So when you receive answer from us, try to do everything what is asked. For example, if we ask for 4 things, just don't try just the first one and tell that it's not helping. Try everything what we asked you to do. It is for some reason always. Yes, situation might be like worse if you try something, but we need to know it so we can get to the resolution. Always make some kinds of notes and document all the results after any changes, so we can know how is it getting better or worse or staying the same as it is. Always make new support files, logs, and so on after you change something. Maybe we can see difference from previous files, and that's it. That's all what we need to see what's wrong. And reply within same ticket number and provide new information, new explanation, what's changed, and so on. So that's how you should write to support and for the debugging steps. And there is a recently introduced new wiki page. It's called Tips and Tricks, and there are few here you can see multiple non-related to each other topics where you can find some useful scripts and ideas what might reduce performance on your device, some useful scripts to ease, like for example load on firewall. For example, very simple script which, believe me, can sometimes even reduce firewall load for and a half. You can find very simple configurations which you should put on your home router to protect your device from attacks and so on. So it's very useful page with few scripts, and the page is being updated time to time. So sometimes you can visit this page and maybe you can find something very useful for you. So, thank you for your attention. Enjoy the demo. Now, do you have some questions? No? Okay, then now we will have a break until 2:30 p.m. Okay, we will wait back for you.